you're not following the law. And Jesus goes, yeah, because this law was never meant to keep you from caring for one another. Remember, love God with my whole self. The law holds us accountable, but we are freed through the gospel then to leave no one behind.
Welcome once again to the Faith First podcast. My name is Pastor Craig Brown. I'll be your host. Our home base of operations is First Lutheran Church, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, community of faith where we discover more together. This is episode 115 on the podcast. We are talking with Pastor Katie today. She is helping us ponder who exactly is my neighbor. Who am I called to show mercy? In what ways are you being called to show mercy to other people? John Lepsey will be here to pray with us, and I'm sure we'll have a few surprises along the way. Thanks for being with us today. Let's go ahead and get things started and put our faith first. Okay, time to find out what's brewing around First Lutheran Church. Pastor Katie with me today.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, did you find your way into the building?
It is exciting. You know, it's almost addicting too. Like you just watch them, the trucks pull up the asphalt out of the parking lot. And because you know that there's something new that's happening and that something is inconvenient right now is going to be something that is going to be better serving for all of us. And I don't know if everybody knows, but our parking lot can be a little bit of a problem, especially in the winter when the water that comes into it can freeze.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And we don't have enough handicap parking lot. We know that, but also our grading is not handicap friendly. So it's a little inconvenient right now, but it's fun to watch. You can feel it when the trucks come through. I mean, it's been a little bumpy here and there, but the church is always open. There's always a place to park.
So what we're referring to is this morning we fenced off our parking lot and a big backhoe crane came in and started pulling up chunks of asphalt, putting them into a dump truck to carry away. And I'd say they're probably half the way through. We're down to gravel lot. So our lot is now gone, which is exciting because, as Pastor Katie says, we're going to level it out. We won't have that big hill or as big as hill to park on. And then it'll be a zero grade going all the way to the front door without any curbs or obstructions. So that'll be nice. And a beautiful new walkway, kind of an obvious pathway into the portico share underpass. So all that's going to be good. But for the next few weeks, it's Fence City. But I just tell you what, I came back with a group of seniors. We had our monthly luncheon down in Westminster Presbyterian and had a really good crew down there. And they were all very optimistic and said, oh, we can park at DeVita Dialysis right across there. He said, we're fine, Pastor Craig. I said, well, just go down and use a crosswalk. Oh, no, we'll just look both ways and jaywalk. All right, if you're 75 and you can do it, or 80.
You get to do you. The church is always open. If you're concerned, I would... And maybe being discombobulated is a little bit much for you. Remember, worship is always online. Yeah, and even that, we can teach you how to watch online if that's a hurdle for somebody as well. Pastor Craig knows that I've been making lots of home visits in the last few weeks. And almost everybody who has been homebound has found a way to watch us online for worship. And even I was in one house, and Pastor Craig and I were talking about, she said, nobody can hear me sing at home, so I sing loud and proud. And I thought, I didn't even think, somebody really, being part of it. And she goes, it's so wonderful because I don't have the physical ability to come to church. But church comes to me.
Yeah, that's nice.
And and so if the construction's a bit much for people, just know that we can make this work in other ways, especially with online worship.
So how's it going to affect you then as Vacation Bible School?
Well, aren't we excited about that? So we have a way to get our students in and out of the building, and everybody's going to just be a little bit super patient. We will use the 3rd Avenue entrance, except for those who need to go around the building, and they can come up through the elevator. Remember, some of our Vacation Bible School kids, this is the first time they've gone to school. They're 3-year-olds. And so for a lot of those families, they like to come into the building and check us out what's going to be happening. Pickup is easy. We bring the children to the car. That actually is a system that we work. You get a claim ticket, and we'll bring your child to the car. Getting into Vacation Bible School, we still need people to sign in each day because we need to know who's picking up your child, who has authority to pick up your child, what's a safety thing for us. So it's going to be a little crazy, but it's all good. It's all good. You still come through the main 3rd Avenue entrance, and you'll see the path. You'll see the path. Now, the one thing to keep in mind when you come for pickup, you'll be also parking along the 3rd Avenue Avenue. 3rd Avenue. Please do not block off PCI's parking lot exits.
Along 3rd Avenue.
Yeah, we need to be able to make sure that patients can get in and out. We told the police what we're going to be doing. It's all of 15 minutes. If everybody could just make 15 minutes work. But just keep in mind, PCI patients are not always aware of our wants and needs, especially if you've spent your time over there having a chemo treatment or radiation. You may not come over, be able to just sit in your car waiting for a long time. So just make sure that the exit for the parking lot stays available.
And that's primarily, I think, in pickup in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. We're going to come down 1st Avenue, come down 12th Street, and then come up 3rd Avenue. So we kind of make that right wing turn, 2 rights. Mm-hmm. Never going against traffic. You open the right door. You're never opening up into traffic, and then we don't want to block the PCI's exit as we're making that wait line. And I think that'll be fine, but I'm intrigued by the drop-off. So you want people to park their cars and across the street at DeVita and come in and sign them in.
Okay. Yes, and I think just being patient with all of us, because it's going to be awkward for everybody, especially the first day is always awkward, and we make it work. But just know we want all the children here. We have plenty of leaders. We're excited about this. This is good. This is good. And we have the whole use of the building. So once you're in the building, we're the only thing happening other than carpeting is going on downstairs.
So just thinking out loud, you've got me in a bear costume, I think,
do.
On day one. And maybe I get out there and I march him across the crosswalk.
I'm sensing you're going to be doing the crosswalk.
Come and go with the bear.
He's been a good sport about it. I got him a bear costume. That alone is worth 1,000 pictures.
Well, when you showed me that, I said, well, it's nothing like the shark that Pastor Steve had to get in last year.
Oh my gosh, I've had this purchase for months. I had it done. I had that purchase before we even had supplies. And Pastor Craig's being a good sport. We take over the 3rd floor. We already have our waterfall is ready to go. We've got trees. There's a cabin. I mean, things are ready and coming together. Our goal is it's a wow. We try and have it so that when the kids come in, they go, wow. Because when somebody knows that a party's been thrown for them, that they are who we wanted to come, that you are the one that this is all about, then they hear that Jesus loves them. The one that we've thrown this party is meeting you today in that conversation, the experience, and the music, and the joy, and all the activities. You will grow in your relationship with God. And that's part of the building too, right? I mean, that's that same wow factor of trying to make it so hospitable that we get barriers out of the way, and instead you can see the welcoming atmosphere of the entire place. We just got to get there.
We're recording this on the 3rd floor, and that's Katie Land, Pastor Katie Land.
I love this up here.
We've now turned it into the Great White North, and I think my favorite feature, you may have outdone yourself of every year I've ever seen you do Vacation Bible School and all your churches, is the waterfall.
You like the waterfall.
Oh my gosh, at the corner, you and Emily somehow created this thing.
Yes, I'll have to tell you, it's literally cardboard boxes, a lot of paper, and don't tell Bob.
Don't tell Bob. What is it, little glimmery stuff, though? What am I going to call it?
There's some, there's streamers all over it.
Yeah.
But they're made of metallic.
Yeah, metallic streamers, and she's got a fan on it on blue, and it looks like running water. I think the kids are just going to stand and oogle at it. It'd be great.
It'll be fun. So, I mean, our goal, again, like I said, is that when they look around the rooms, they feel like a party's being thrown. Mm-hmm. And when they come with that kind of spirit, they come with a longing, and we tell them right away they belong. T-shirts are a big thing of that. That sounds dumb, but when you wear the same T-shirt as everybody else, you immediately know, I belong. When you see T-shirts that are the safe adults, you know that people are looking out for you, that here you belong. We're going to take care of you safety. It can hopefully open your heart a little bit more to than what we're teaching and what we're sharing. So the wow factor gets you to the aha factor. So
Good memories. And then Thursday night, we're organizing a pool party for the entire congregation. So if you don't have kids in Vacation Bible School, but you want to be a part of it in the celebration Thursday night, we're going to be at Cherry Hill Pool. I just lined that up for us, 6:30 to 8:30. We've got their pavilion inside the facility. Just go to the front desk, tell them you're with First Lutheran, and we'll keep a tally and we'll pay for everybody afterwards. So it's a free swim party on Thursday night.
And the camp counselors will be joining you, so you've gotten to know them all week long. And we have 6 camp counselors that stay at my house for the week, and they're part of our team. They don't run the camp. They don't run Vacation Bible School. They run the day camp in the afternoon. And they're coming to the pool party. So it's like having star power at the pool party. The night before, we will have worship, and a meal and worship, and we will highlight all the music that the kids have learned. And this year, we're going to meet upstairs. We're going to have our night of worship upstairs where the kids have been all week long, and it's more familiar to them. We have lots of kids that not familiar with the sanctuary. That's not their place that they've been. They come for Vacation Bible School. So this floor is homeland.
So we're going to pack them in the choir room.
Yeah, we're going to pack them in the choir room.
Sounds good. Well, that'll be on Wednesday night. And again, that's for everybody at 6:30 if you want to come hear the kids sing their songs and see the waterfall. It's worth the price of admission, riding the elevator up to see the waterfall on the 3rd floor and be a part of that. That would be awesome too. It's kind of like, we don't want to call it echo worship, but it's kind of in that vein.
It is in the vein of echo worship, yeah.
Youth-led echo worship, and be a great time.
I think it's just fun. I mean, we get to see the inconvenience be a possibility. And we've all used this language now, yes, how can we? And I think when we look at the greater world and just see, there are churches that would love to know that they need to update and have some vitality because they've passed that moment. And we're not. We are so healthy that we can be uncomfortable for a while, knowing that the other side of that is going to be more. What that more looks like, I'm not sure yet, but there's more. And I think that that's amazing. It kind of digs us into our scriptures. Because you're going to go ask me. That's right. You're going to ask me. We are blessed with 2 huge scriptures this weekend, and they happen to be Pastor Katie's favorite. One comes from Deuteronomy, chapter 6, and then we also have the gospel reading from Luke, chapter 10.
So great tease. One more minute on that. We'll dig into those, but just so everybody knows they're coming to church this weekend. We've got a bunch of parking attendants out there. The PCI's lot's still open. We've got a bunch of volunteers coming in to guide you into worship. The sanctuary is still open. Our narthex is still functioning. In fact, we're having a funeral on Saturday for Marv Quas. We're going to have the funeral in the sanctuary and the fellowship in the narthex. So those all pieces are still good. You can still access the elevator. So come on in 10th Street if you need to drop somebody off. We're still open for business, and it shouldn't affect us a whole lot, I wouldn't think, as far as worship and weekend stuff. So come here and be with us. As Pastor Katie said, you can always hear a message online on our YouTube channel, First Lutheran CR, or on our website, firstlutherancr.org. We have the radio show, which is at 8:30 a.m. on KMRY, FM and AM, 93.1 FM, and I believe 1450 a.m. So you can always catch that too. And now we're podcasting the radio show on Spotify. So you can find First Lutheran Worship on Spotify, a good half-hour audio show on demand anytime.
That's great.
So we're all doing this summer to make this easy for you to worship, and hope to either see here in person or online. Be
a part of the uncomfortable journey so you have a story to tell.
Yeah.
Remember when we had to park like a block away, and we just kind of giggle now that that's inconvenient, parking a block away. For those who have ability concerns, we'll make that work. People will guide you the way that you need to get into the building.
And if you show up in the next couple of days, you get a free chunk of asphalt.
Yeah.
We're just handing them away. Handing them out.
They're gifts to behold.
A keepsake, a memento of our time together.
There you go.
All right, thanks for being with us for this segment, Pastor Katie. We'll talk to you in a minute again. And that's a look at what's brewing around First Lutheran Church. It is time to dig into the Word with Pastor Katie once again. You got some scriptures for us.
So we have 2 passages this week, Deuteronomy and then the Gospel of Luke. And as I was sharing, these are my passages that motivate me in children's ministry. That eventually, from children's ministry, I went into seminary and got ordained. It was because of the passage that from Deuteronomy, Moses is reminding, and we're talking about 1 million some people, 1 million Jews that have been freed from slavery, and he's reminding them of this covenant, this promise that God has made with them. And he's reminding them because pretty soon He's not going to be allowed to get into the promised land. Joshua is going to take over the ministry of this community, and he wants them to remember a couple last big moments. And it's fairly simple, but it is, you have one God, and you are to worship your one God with your whole self and your heart, mind, body, and soul. And then love your neighbor. Because if I have one God, and I trust that to be true, and I'm worshiping with my whole self, then I don't need to compete with my neighbor. I can love my neighbor. Mm-hmm. Okay, fast forward. That is all spoken about 1,500 years before Christ is on this earth. We're hearing the Gospel of Luke 2,000 years later. And in our hearing of 2,000 years later, so we've got this down, there's going to be an expert, and he's going to try to trick Jesus into saying something that is not truth. And as he does so, what he's going to do is he's going to say, hey, Jesus, what's the greatest commandment? How do I inherit the kingdom of earth? How do I get through? And I remember he's an expert in the law, so he would have read Deuteronomy. He would have known Deuteronomy by heart. And instead, Jesus doesn't let him off the hook. You have it in front of you. Go ahead and read that.
An expert in the law, okay, here it is. An expert in the law stood up to test Jesus. Teacher, he said, what must I do to inherit eternal life? Jesus said to him, what is written by the law? There you go. What do you read there? He answered, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. That's what's known as what? The Shema?
The Shema.
And
so
Deuteronomy.
So this expert is quoting Deuteronomy word for word. So he obviously knows passages that have been written 1,500 years before he's speaking to Jesus in that moment. But his tone, according to scholars, is that he is trying to trick or get Jesus to stumble in his own knowledge of the scriptures. Now he's trying to trick the Son of God into not knowing what God says.
And Jesus kind of captures him and says, you've said to him, you've given the right answer. Right. Do this and you will live. Full stop. That's
I know,
not a very interesting story.
And,
you got it. But then he goes on.
Oh, then he can't leave it there. This expert can't take it his win. He has to go a little farther.
He says, but wanting to vindicate himself, this guy asked Jesus, and who is my neighbor?
Yeah, see, and the vindication there is that he's like, yeah, I know, but think of children. Yeah, I know I was supposed to do this, but here's all the reasons I didn't, or did you know about all these things? And everything is a delay to the truth. And the truth is going to be where Jesus says this story about the Good Samaritan, where there is an injured man along the street. And how is he injured? He is on his way from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he's going to get robbed, beaten, and left on the side of the road. And there are going to be priests and people who work for the priest, and they're going to walk on by because they're not going to care for this injured person because he's dirty, because of his injuries, because he's not one of them.
Well, yes, that's a possibility, but it could be they had more important things to do, like, I don't want to say there's more important things than the poor, but maybe they had worship to lead, or maybe they had,
According to the scholars, no, he cannot touch them, because a priest cannot touch an unclean person that is...
It was a class issue, basically.
This is, again, we're the law, right? We're law gospel. We're going to be convicted because Jesus sees an injured man. We see, is it an injured man that fits the story that I can serve or I can care for? Right. Can I touch this person? One of my college professors talks about, too, we just need to we need to sit in that a little bit, the uncomfortability that a priest judged the injuries of this individual and kept walking by. His worker, who would have learned everything from the priest. That's why they say Levite. He would have been serving the priest. He too walks by. He's been taught this. Now, some of this is tradition, but it's with all things. There are times we have to call out tradition and say, you would rather have somebody sit on the side of the road bleeding from an injury and being robbed than healing. And this is the point that the expert's trying to trick Jesus into, is saying all these things about healing, about loving, about forgiving. You're not following the law. And Jesus goes, yeah, because this law was never meant to keep you from caring for one another. Remember, love God with my whole self. The law holds us accountable, but we are freed through the gospel then to leave no one behind. The passage writes so many different characters from so many different stories, from so many different castes or backgrounds, dialogues, languages, all this stuff, that there's a lot of judging going on, except by the Samaritan. The Samaritan looks at the person who's injured and says, this person needs help. Gives up their own wages. 2 denarii would have been 2 days' wages. Gives up his own wages and then puts him in a safe place. That's the story right here. Who is my neighbor? And if I'm the neighbor, will somebody help me out? Or have I made so many they, thems, and not us, and over there and others, that I have made so many boundaries that maybe somebody won't cross the road to take care of me either. So it's really a moment to pause. The story is so familiar that sometimes the depth of the story needs a little bit of breath.
The guy from Samaria would have been not of Jewish tradition, most likely.
No, and they used the word hated. This would have been hatred. They hated the Samaritan. That would have been the tradition. But the Samaritan doesn't hate them.
For us today, it might be a Russian or somebody from the Middle East, Iranian.
Well, somebody that's different, right?
Yeah.
Right now, we would say it's somebody that has a different accent than our own, may have a different tradition. Oh, they're wearing clothing that looks different than what I'm wearing. It's all the isms, right? And we sum up somebody and we say, I cannot go over there because. And meanwhile, the person's hurting and in need of compassion. Ultimately, the act of the Samaritan opens our own eyes and our own hearts to be more merciful.
Maybe it'd be one of the people that's been living here for decades as an undocumented immigrant, and but basically integrated in our society now, and they do the compassionate thing, and and they out themselves, and maybe have to go home, and who does the right thing?
Right. We've seen some of our undocumented undocumented neighbors, because that's the big key word now is neighbor. In this passage, it's all about neighbor. We've seen some of our undocumented neighbors go out and risk helping somebody, knowing that they've put themselves in peril.
That's it, yeah.
And we're grateful for the help, but then we hold them, we say that they're not one of us, even though, like we said, some folks have been here 30, 40 years.
Right. And that's the law.
Yeah,
you need to go. But where's the mercy?
Yes, and I think that we are called, this passage just really challenges us to be merciful. Now, this isn't about politics, guys. This isn't right or left or anything like that. We're talking about what Jesus says. Jesus says you are to love God and love your neighbor.
Yeah, and I may have taken us there by just trying to make it a modernization.
Yep, agreed.
Who would be the Samaritan? It would be somebody who, I don't want to say breaking the law, but is against our social norms.
Could be, yeah. Again, it's the other.
Maybe an unchurched person.
Yeah, it's the other.
They don't go to First Lutheran. They're not who call themselves Christian, but they do the right thing. And all of us who are supposedly, in the faith, do the wrong thing. And so the guy asked himself at the end. So Jesus asked the guy at the end of the story, who of these three do you think was the neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? And he said, well, the one who showed him mercy. And Jesus said, go and do likewise.
Yeah, the expert has an aha moment, because that's a parable. All parables get us to an aha moment, right? And in that moment, he is convicted, but Jesus goes one more step. Instead of saying you don't understand, you've been living in the law, Jesus frees him from all of that and says, now go do this. Go love other people. It's not easy. It's not simple. He's not going to all of a sudden drop all of the teachings he's ever been taught.
Right.
He's not going to all of a sudden say, oh my gosh, I now at the age of whatever, 40, 50 years old, everything changes. But his heart's been transformed. He now knows the difference. And he lives in what we're going to dwell back on as mercy. When we want to receive mercy and when we are called to be merciful to one another. And this is that neighbor piece. Who is my neighbor?
The guy from Samaria probably wouldn't know Deuteronomy. He probably couldn't quote that like this guy.
Right.
But he's living out the letter of the law, which is mercy, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, isn't that cool to think that in sometimes I want to say arrogance, but in our righteousness, we've figured out ways to call out others. Meanwhile, the others are looking at us, maybe a little more merciful, and saying, I would help you if you needed it. I would care for you if you needed it. Just here, even in the parking lot, the other day I was trying to carry something in, and an individual who was waiting for the SEMP doors to open came over, and all of a sudden that's them and me, right? And they're waiting for this free meal, and I'm sitting here trying to walk in with my little supplies, and he walks up to me, and goes, "Can I help you carry that?" What was my attitude? I was convicted. I wasn't shamed. I was convicted, and it's different. I didn't sit here and go, oh, I should have known better. Instead, I said, thank you. My heart changing, my heart opening up to what somebody who's a complete stranger just wanted to do, what the one thing he could do was help me get the things into the building. I was so transformed in that moment of, aha, that's just speaking to me. The shame thing doesn't motivate. Guilt does not motivate. No. An aha moment where your heart is transformed, when you can see the difference, wow, there's your moment.
So what do you think the possibility of peace might be for us as we hear this story?
Gosh. Here's where I live in that. Thank goodness we have a very, very patient God. Because the very beginning, when you have, if the story is Adam and Eve and whatever you understand that to be stories, their children kill each other off, basically, in shame and in envy of one another. And God still stayed merciful and still stays in a covenant with us. I don't know how to get to the other side, but being angry does not bring about peace. Shaking our fists at one another does not bring about peace. But feeding the other, caring for the other, and being grateful when we are cared for the other, we become neighbors. Not that, them, they, over there. We become neighbors. And in that we are following the scripture. Who is my neighbor? Well, will you serve your neighbor? Who is your neighbor? Look around. You know, that's not that hard, right? We just don't like always what we see. Or we don't understand. And in today's world, sometimes we're afraid. We're just out and out afraid.
And I love how you show mercy and teach us to show mercy in the small things of smiling at someone or opening the door. You're big on that.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter who it is or who you're doing it for, but do it for each other. So you see the humanity in each other. I think those small things maybe are ways that it's hard to read this story and think, oh, when have I seen somebody dead alongside the road, you know,
Right.
or dying? It's just, it's so huge. It's hard to get, I think, at the smallness of it. But you're really good at that, I think, Pastor Katie, in teaching us the small moments of mercy.
Well, how many of you have been blessed by the person in front of you paying for your Starbucks, right?
Exactly.
You think,
Yeah.
oh, that's such a little thing. It wasn't when I got the free Starbucks and I didn't have $2 in my bag and they said this has been covered and I smiled the rest of the day. The stranger took care of me. Now, I know that sounds dumb, but they had the capacity to do that. They had the finances to be able to do that, and they did that. We are seeing on a national level right now all the people that are going into the areas that have been flooded and just the raging rivers that have claimed so many lives. I think back to very self-centeredly, but back to when derecho happens. When you're in it, you are so shocked and so overwhelmed, you can't see a path forward. But somebody can come in and be merciful and say, what do you need? Go find my family. Go find our belongings. Tell me where to live. Provide me with food. We're seeing that happen on a large scale. We are seeing prayer. I mean, people are out and out praying, and all of the news stations have captured all of this prayer. We know that there are people who are do not have the same faith that are praying for one another. We will be praying for those down in the areas that have been flooded. We don't know them, but they're our neighbor. We will pray for them. Sometimes that's what we have in our toolkit is to pray, and that's what God says. Care for one another boldly, love one another boldly, but do something. Doing nothing, we have been convicted.
Showing each other mercy. I also wonder if, like, with loved ones that are at odds with each other, or a friend that's made a mistake in your life, or a loved one that's made a mistake, maybe to forgive that is to show some mercy.
And to forgive doesn't mean that we're encouraging you as pastors in any way to get yourself back into a very unhealthy situation.
No.
It means acknowledge it. Surrender what you cannot solve to God. That's why Jesus is with us. Surrender what you're not capable of, but show mercy. And one of the biggest things we can do when we show mercy is the small things. Meet each other where we have commonality. Meet each other where we can be kind and gracious, and it will become contagious. What did I do when I got that free Starbucks? The next time I could do it, I said, you know what? I'm going to pay for the person behind me.
Yeah.
It was contagious. The young lady was so excited to give me a free drink that day. And I said, I can't believe I'm so lucky. And she's like, we were laughing. It's contagious.
Yeah.
It's contagious.
Sounds like another good one, Bruin.
Yeah, here we go. Good stuff. When the scriptures speak for themselves, but we just need to listen.
We're also going to be blessing all the people involved with Vacation Bible School at our worship services. So come and be a part of that. Help bless all of our leaders and our kids and our parents and everyone involved. Thank you to everyone who's donated to all this, that, and the other.
It's been amazing.
I see them roll in this week left and right. You guys are great. Yep. Appreciate your generosity. And thanks for making it the best week ever.
Best week of the year. Yep.
And
okay.
That's digging into the Word.
Thanks.
It's time to pray our way through the week. This is First Lutheran member John Lepsey. I am delighted to pray with and for you today for God's presence this week. Saving God, Awaken your church to your truth as it follows your path of love. Encourage pastors, deacons, teachers, and seminarians, and lead them as they seek to learn your ways. Prosper the harvest of fruit-bearing bushes, trees, and plants. Uphold farmers and farm workers as they labor through summer days and bring relief to lands that are parched with heat. Instill in leaders of the world a strong love for their neighbors. Compel them to govern with equity and to give aid and protection to people who are vulnerable, especially strangers, migrants, and asylum seekers. Draw near to people in need of help, comfort, and healing. Provide protection and aid to children who are unsafe and undernourished while on summer break. Be with all of our children, teachers, and youth leaders preparing for our True North Vacation Bible Camp this coming week. Bless all those in attendance that they would know Jesus' love and build new friendships and community. Go with all who travel and protect them from harm. Put in their paths people who offer aid. We pray especially for the safety of first responders. We give you thanks for all who have gone before us and have made your love known. Help us to follow their witness as we await our share in the inheritance of the saints. Trusting in your loving kindness, we place our prayer and hope in you. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, John, for those prayers, and thank you, Pastor Katie, for being with us today, and thank you for being with us as well. Hope you're enduring the heat out there. I know our older two kids are working as lifeguards at the Cherry Hill pool, and the younger two are up at summer camp this week, so I know that we're all trying to out there beat the heat, so hope you're staying cool in whatever way you can, and hopefully we can provide you a little cool shade and mercy here at First Lutheran Church from time to time as well. Be sure to check out our Facebook page and Instagram reels for all of our updates on our construction. I was just talking to a woman in the community just this morning. She said, "Oh, I'm loving the new carpet in the lower level of the church." And I said, "Oh, have you been by to see it?" And she goes, "Oh, no, I just follow you on Facebook." I was like, "Oh, okay." I knew she wasn't a church member, but that was just kind of cool. She's like, "Yeah, I'm really loving all the pictures." So be sure to check those out and stay updated with us. We'd love to have you here anytime and look at it safely from a distance as things are on the move. We are making great strides in our improvement. Hope you have a great week this week, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week. Until then, remember to be strong, be courageous, and show others mercy as we put our faith first.